You surrender your frame. Every time you narrate your emotions, you give someone else a map. And maps aren't just for people who want to connect with you. They're also for people who want to control you. Machiavelli taught a brutal truth. He who reveals his intentions has already surrendered. Transparency is currency, and you've been giving it away for free. If you want to reclaim your power, the first step is this. Stop narrating your soul. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You do not need to give people the manual to your heart. Because when people cannot read you, they cannot script you. When people cannot predict you, they cannot move you. And when they cannot move you, they cannot use you. This is where the transformation begins. Not by becoming louder, not by becoming cruel, but by becoming unreadable. Because true power is not in how loudly you speak. It's in how carefully you are listened to, even in silence. So I ask you, are you ready to take it back? Your presence, your perception, your power. Because the war you've been losing is not out there. It's in here. It's in the way you were programmed to betray yourself, silently, politely, conveniently. But that ends now. This is not about becoming cruel. This is about becoming clear. And clarity is the beginning of power. You surrender your frame. Every time you narrate your emotions, you give someone else a map. And maps aren't just for people who want to connect with you. They're also for people who want to control you. Machiavelli taught a brutal truth. He who reveals his intentions has already surrendered. Transparency is currency, and you've been giving it away for free. If you want to reclaim your power, the first step is this. Stop narrating your soul. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You do not need to give people the manual to your heart. Because when people cannot read you, they cannot script you. When people cannot predict you, they cannot move you. And when they cannot move you, they cannot use you. This is where the transformation begins. Not by becoming louder, not by becoming cruel, but by becoming unreadable. Because true power is not in how loudly you speak. It's in how carefully you are listened to, even in silence. So I ask you, are you ready to take it back? Your presence, your perception, your power. Because the war you've been losing is not out there. It's in here. It's in the way you were programmed to betray yourself, silently, politely, conveniently. But that ends now. This is not about becoming cruel. This is about becoming clear. And clarity is the beginning of power. Look closely at the people around you, at work, in your family, among your so-called friends. Notice something strange? They all wear masks. The polite colleague who compliments you but quietly undermines you. The friend who laughs with you but envies your progress. The partner who swears loyalty but scans the horizon for better options. And you believe the mask. Why? Because you were trained to assume people are what they show you. But Machiavelli whispered a harsher truth, one most people cannot stomach. Men judge by appearances. Few see what you truly are, and those few dare not contradict the majority. In other words, people don't care about reality. They care about performance. They don't care about your sincerity. They care about the mask you wear. And if you don't learn to play this game, you will keep being played. Life is not a fair battleground. It is a theater. And in this theater, the strongest are not the kindest, or the smartest, or the most deserving. The strongest are those who can control perception. Think about it. Why do average leaders rise above brilliant ones? Why do shallow influencers control millions of minds? Why do ruthless bosses climb, while honest workers remain invisible? It is not because they are better. It is because they are actors on the stage of power. They wear confidence like armor. They perform certainty even when they're unsure. They project strength even when they're hollow inside. And the audience, people like you, applaud the mask as though it were truth. Here's the tragedy. You are punished not for your weakness, but for your transparency. You reveal your doubts. You confess your fears. You explain your struggles. And in a world of predators, that confession is not connection, it's ammunition. Every time you reveal your heart to the wrong person, you are sharpening their knife. Every time you show your cards, you are handing them the game. This is the invisible prison you live in, believing that vulnerability will protect you, when in truth, it is the lock that keeps you caged. Machiavelli laid out a principle so brutal, it still shakes people centuries later. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is fragile. It is conditional. It disappears the moment you stop serving someone's need. Fear, however, anchors behavior. Fear makes people hesitate before betraying you. Fear keeps opportunists from moving against you too quickly. But understand this carefully. Machiavelli did not mean cruelty. He meant clarity. Clarity of presence. Clarity of consequence. Clarity that whispers, I am not to be moved lightly. That is the law of power. So how do you survive in a theater of masks? You learn to wear your own. This does not mean lying. It does not mean abandoning your truth. It means learning to selectively reveal. Power is not about being fully seen. Power is about being strategically seen. Show strength, even when you're uncertain. Project calm, even when you feel chaos. Reveal only what empowers you, never what weakens you. Because once you control the mask, you control the narrative. And once you control the narrative, you control the room. Let's be brutally honest. You want to be authentic. You want to be real. You want people to love you for who you truly are. But here's the paradox. The world does not reward raw authenticity. The world rewards filtered authenticity. Think of the artists, leaders, icons you admire. Do you truly know them? Number. You know the version they allow you to see. They are not lying to you. They are curating. They are protecting. They are performing. Because to show everything is not bravery, it is self-exposure. And self-exposure in the wrong arena is suicide. So how do you begin? How do you transform from prey to player? Step 1. Stop narrating your every thought. Not everyone deserves access to your inner dialogue. Not everyone has earned the right to know your doubts, your fears, your insecurities. Step 2. Learn the power of selective silence. Silence unsettles manipulators. Silence forces others to project their own interpretations. Silence makes you unpredictable. Step 3. Construct your mask deliberately. Ask yourself, what qualities do I want people to associate with me? What signals do I want to radiate when I enter a room? What emotions do I want to trigger in others? Because if you don't design your mask, the world will design it for you. Picture this moment. You walk into a room. The same people who once overlooked you now hesitate. The same ones who took you for granted now calculate before speaking. The same ones who drained your kindness now treat you like a force, not an option. Why? Because you shifted from open book to closed vault. From predictable to unreadable. From easy to control, to impossible to move. That is the Machiavellian shift, and it begins not with cruelty, but with the courage to protect your essence. But listen carefully. The mask is not just protection, it is temptation. If you use it wrongly, you become the manipulator you once despised. If you wear it without discipline, you lose yourself in the performance. So remember this: the mask is not meant to deceive the world. It is meant to defend your core from the world. Because your kindness is not the problem. Your transparency is. Guard it, shape it, direct it, and watch the same world that once drained you now hesitate before touching you. Every room has two types of people: the hunters and the prey. The hunters walk in with their eyes scanning, calculating, measuring. They know exactly who they can use, who they can manipulate, and who they must avoid. The prey? They walk in with open hearts, eager smiles, and unguarded energy. They hope to be liked. They hope to be accepted. And because of that hope, they are always the first to be devoured. Machiavelli understood this ancient law. If you are not hunting, you are being hunted. This is not cruelty. This is survival. The mistake most people make is assuming power is loud. They imagine the hunter as the one who dominates every conversation, the one who flexes status, the one who intimidates. But real Machiavellian hunters are quiet. They move in shadows. They plant seeds instead of shouting commands. They study you. They mirror your language. They listen more than they speak. Because while you're busy trying to impress, they're busy mapping your weaknesses. That is the invisible strategy. Information is the currency of power. Every secret you spill, every insecurity you confess, every detail you give away is a coin in someone else's pocket. And predators love cheap prey. You think sharing your struggles makes you relatable, but in a room of hunters, it makes you vulnerable. They will smile. They will nod. They will comfort you. But inside, they're writing down every word like ammunition. And when the day comes that your interests clash with theirs, they will load those bullets and fire. Machiavelli would warn you. Arm yourself not with confessions, but with silence, for silence cannot be used against you. Here's the brutal truth. Most people don't respect weakness. They exploit it. When you show that you crave approval, you become easy to control. When you reveal your desperation, you invite manipulation. When you display neediness, you place yourself on the leash of others. This is why Machiavelli insisted leaders must appear strong, even when they are crumbling inside. Because perception is more powerful than reality. People follow what they see, not what is true. And if you want to avoid being the prey, you must never bleed in front of wolves. Want to know if someone is a hunter? Watch how they test you. Hunters will drop subtle insults just to see if you defend yourself. Hunters will make small requests to see how quickly you comply. Hunters will probe with questions to measure how much you reveal. Each of these is a test. And every time you fail, you give them permission to take more. The Machiavellian response? Be unpredictable. Sometimes resist. Sometimes ignore. Sometimes flip the script and test them. Because once they realize you are not easy to read, you stop being prey. One of the strongest weapons in your arsenal is delay. When someone asks you a question, pause. When someone pressures you to decide, wait. When someone tries to corner you, breathe. Delay unsettles manipulators. It disrupts their script. It forces them to reveal impatience, anxiety, and hidden motives. Machiavelli knew this. The one who controls the pace controls the game. Prey reacts immediately. Hunters move with calculated timing. Ask yourself, are you reacting or are you orchestrating? Why do people obsess over celebrities they'll never meet? Why do they fantasize about strangers online? Why do they chase what they cannot have? Because mystery is magnetic. The less you reveal, the more people project onto you. They fill in the gaps with their imagination. And imagination is always more powerful than truth. Machiavelli's insight. Never show your entire hand. Keep them guessing. Keep them leaning forward. Keep them uncertain. Because mystery creates desire, and desire gives you power. Picture yourself walking into a room. This time, you are not the open book. You are the closed vault. People look at you and wonder, what are they thinking? Why are they so calm? Why do I feel off balance around them? That feeling is power. That hesitation is control. That shift is the Machiavellian advantage. You are no longer prey. You are the hunter. Not because you dominate with aggression, but because you command with presence. But remember, the hunter's path is lonely. When you rise above the prey, you lose the comfort of belonging. You sacrifice easy friendships built on weakness. Yet what you gain is freedom, independence, dominance. Because in the end, power is not given. It is taken. And if you do not claim it, someone else will. Every day you wake up inside a battlefield you cannot see. Not a battlefield of weapons, but of influence, reputation, and subtle control. At work, someone positions themselves above you. Among friends, someone quietly competes with you. Even in family, power games simmer beneath the surface. You may not call it war, but Machiavelli would. Because the truth is this: the world is governed not by honesty, but by strategy. And if you don't play the game plays you. No one rises alone. Not kings, not leaders, not you. Power is built on alliances. But here's the Machiavellian twist. Your allies are not your friends. Allies are useful. Friends are emotional. And emotions cloud judgment. A true player understands that alliances are temporary contracts. Agreements built not on loyalty, but on mutual advantage. So ask yourself, who benefits from being near me? Who can I elevate so that they must, in turn, elevate me? And when the alliance no longer serves, am I ready to cut ties cleanly? Because in the theater of power, alliances are not permanent. They are tools. Here is one of Machiavelli's most ruthless principles. If you want power over someone, make them dependent on you. Think about it. The employee who cannot live without their paycheck is easy to control. The friend who relies on your approval will bend to your will. The partner who depends on your stability will hesitate before defying you. Dependency is the invisible leash. But here's the dangerous truth. If you are the one dependent on money, approval, or love, then you are the one on the leash. So ask, where are you dependent? And who controls you because of it? Until you cut those chains, you will never walk freely. One of the most fatal mistakes in power games is this: making those above you feel threatened. You think your brilliance will earn admiration, but in reality, it sparks envy. You think your ambition will earn respect, but instead, it breeds suspicion. Machiavelli would warn you, never outshine the master. If your boss, mentor, or leader feels overshadowed, they will not reward you. They will destroy you. So the wise move is subtlety. Shine, yes, but shine in a way that makes them feel brighter standing next to you. Feed their ego. Let them believe they are the sun, while you rise quietly as the moon. Power is rarely about truth. It is about perception. Ask yourself, how do people see you? Because perception often matters more than reality. The cruel boss who occasionally shows mercy is seen as balanced. The dishonest politician who makes a single bold promise is seen as visionary. The average worker who simply looks confident gets promoted above the skilled one who looks insecure. This is the art of managed appearance. You don't have to be flawless. You only have to appear valuable, competent, and untouchable. Because humans don't follow truth. They follow image. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors those who act decisively, but also those who wait with patience. Timing is everything. A weak move played at the perfect moment becomes powerful. A brilliant move played too soon collapses into nothing. The strategist does not rush. The strategist does not panic. The strategist waits for the exact moment when the opponent is distracted, tired, or overconfident, and then strikes. Ask yourself, do you waste energy trying to win every battle? Or do you conserve your strength for the battles that matter most? The master of timing always wins. We spoke earlier about Machiavelli's infamous line, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's the nuance most miss. The true master balances both. Too much fear, and people plot against you. Too much love, and people take advantage of you. The secret is to make people love you enough to follow, but fear you just enough to never betray. That tension, that fragile balance, is the invisible rope that keeps people in line. Imagine this. You walk into a room, and instantly, the energy shifts. Not because you shouted, not because you demanded, but because your presence itself radiates quiet control. Some people admire you. Some envy you. Some fear you, but none ignore you. This is the Machiavellian path. Not the path of cruelty, but of clarity, perception, and strategic dominance. It is the path where you stop being moved by others and start moving them. But understand this, power always comes at a cost. The more you rise, the fewer people you can trust. The higher you climb, the sharper the knives waiting behind your back. Machiavelli did not promise peace. He promised survival. So if you choose this path, do not expect comfort. Expect victory. And remember, in the invisible war of life, either you play the game or you are the game. Most people live as puppets. Their emotions are the strings. Their desires are the knots. And society pulls them whichever way it wants. They get angry when provoked. They get jealous when compared. They get desperate when denied. But the Machiavellian does not dance on strings. Instead, they cut their own strings and attach new ones to others. That is the difference between the controlled and the controller. Every human being has buttons. Some people have the anger button. Some have the insecurity button. Some have the praise button. And the master manipulator? They learn where those buttons are. A single compliment can disarm suspicion. A single insult can shatter confidence. A single pause in attention can make someone chase your approval endlessly. Machiavelli understood this simple truth. Control emotions, and you control actions. Because once someone reacts, they stop thinking. And when they stop thinking, you decide the outcome. Manipulation often begins with bait. The bait can be a word, a promise, a gift, a small act of kindness. Once the prey bites, once they show interest, trust, or dependence, you hook them, and the more they invest time, emotion, energy, the tighter the hook becomes. Think about it. The scammer who first offers something for free. The toxic friend who showers you with compliments before taking advantage. The leader who promises protection, then demands obedience. It always begins with bait. If you want power, learn to offer what others crave: security, validation, opportunity. And once they bite, you hold the line. Never reveal your true emotions in the battlefield of power. Anger exposes your weakness. Sadness reveals your wounds. Excitement betrays your intentions. But what if you wore a mask? The mask of calm when chaos erupts. The mask of interest when you're plotting something else. The mask of ignorance, when you already know the truth. Machiavelli would call this the art of controlled deception. If others cannot read you, they cannot control you. And the one who cannot be read becomes the one everyone fears. Here is one of the most overlooked tactics in power: guilt. People are terrified of being seen as selfish, cruel, or ungrateful. And a skilled manipulator exploits that fear. They say, "I did this for you, now you owe me. After everything I've done, you won't help me? You're really going to disappoint me like that?" Notice the pattern? They use guilt to turn your strength, your conscience, into a weapon against you. But the Machiavellian flips the script. They do not get trapped by guilt. They use it sparingly, surgically, to bend others without force. Power is not always about domination. Sometimes it is about quiet persuasion, and guilt is the softest chain of all. Sometimes the greatest move is to disappear. Silence makes people anxious. Absence makes people desperate. Withdrawal forces them to question what they did wrong. This is why ignoring someone is often more powerful than arguing with them. It leaves them alone with their own thoughts. And the mind is a cruel interrogator. Machiavelli knew. People crave certainty. And if you deny them certainty, they will chase you, obey you, even beg for you. So the next time someone expects your reaction, do not react. Withdraw and watch their power crumble. Now, let's go deeper. The advanced predator doesn't just manipulate in moments. They design environments where others trap themselves. Example: give someone a small responsibility, then hold them accountable until they can't escape. Feed someone a secret, then watch them betray it, and suddenly they are in your debt. Let someone underestimate you, so when you strike, they are completely unprepared. These are not random tricks. They are systems. The Machiavellian doesn't fight battles. They build cages, and they let others walk inside willingly. Now pause for a moment. Think of your life until now. How many times have you been manipulated? How many times have you been baited, guilted, or controlled without even knowing it? This is not weakness, it is training. Every wound, every loss, every betrayal was a lesson. And now, you rise. You no longer chase approval. You no longer bleed emotions in front of wolves. You no longer give away your strings for others to pull. From this moment on, you are the puppet master. Not cruel, not reckless, but calculating, composed, untouchable. Because the only way to survive in a world of predators is to become the sharpest one of all. But listen carefully. The Machiavellian path is not about destruction. It is about control. Not chaos, but order. The weak see manipulation as evil. The strong see it as necessary. Because in every empire, in every kingdom, in every relationship, those who understand human nature rule, and those who don't serve. So the question remains, will you keep being moved like a piece on the board? Or will you become the one moving the pieces? The choice is yours. Imagine standing on a mountain. Below you, millions of people move through life like sheep, obeying rules they never questioned, chasing goals they never chose, serving powers they never understood. But you climbed higher. You saw what they couldn't. And you learned the truth. Life is not fair. Power is not given. Respect is not earned, it is taken. This final part is the transformation. The moment where all the rules, all the tactics, all the strategies combine. And you step into the role of the Machiavellian. Not the victim, not the pawn, but the architect of the game itself. The ordinary person reacts to life. The Machiavellian designs it. Every friendship, every alliance, every interaction is not left to chance. Instead, it is sculpted, calculated, engineered. Ask yourself, who do you allow close? Who do you keep at a distance? What image do you project in public? What truths do you conceal in private? This is the architect's view, the ability to step back, look at the entire chessboard, and move not for today's win, but for tomorrow's kingdom. The true Machiavellian wears two masks. One is the mask of charm. It smiles, it inspires, it attracts. It makes people want to follow you, trust you, adore you. The other is the mask of fear. It does not scream. It does not threaten. It simply radiates the silent warning. Do not cross me. The genius is in switching masks seamlessly. Too much charm, and you're seen as soft. Too much fear, and you're seen as a tyrant. But when balanced, charm binds loyalty. Fear prevents betrayal. That balance is absolute dominance. Here is a truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes, to gain real power, you must sacrifice. It might be your comfort. It might be your reputation. It might even be relationships you once held close. Because wolves cannot run with sheep, and lions cannot stay in cages. Machiavelli warned rulers that mercy, generosity, and kindness, when given blindly, invite downfall. You cannot keep everyone happy. You cannot carry everyone with you. You cannot lead without letting go. Sacrifice is not cruelty. It is the sharpening of your edge, the shedding of what holds you back. Every Machiavellian carries a shadow. It is the darker side of human nature. The ambition, the envy, the hunger, the cunning. Most people deny their shadow. They pretend to be pure, innocent, harmless. And because of that, their shadow controls them unconsciously. But the Machiavellian does the opposite. They face the shadow. They master it. They use it as fuel. To suppress darkness is weakness. To wield darkness with discipline is power. This is the shadow principle. Do not fear your darker nature. Direct it. Shape it. Let it serve you, not rule you. What is the ultimate goal of Machiavellian mastery? Not small tricks, not temporary victories, but empire. Your empire may not be land or armies. It may be your business, your reputation, your influence, your legacy. But make no mistake, you are building a kingdom, and kingdoms require structure. They require order. They require rules. The Machiavellian rule is simple. Rule firmly, but never unnecessarily. Reward loyalty, but never blindly. Crush betrayal, but never emotionally. Because the moment your power is based on emotion, it becomes fragile. But if your power is based on strategy, it becomes eternal. Centuries after his death, Machiavelli's name still strikes fear. Why? Because he understood the immortal game. Kings fall. Nations crumble. Leaders rise and die. But the principles of power, they never fade. Silence still protects. Mystery still seduces. Fear still controls. Strategy still wins. And those who master these principles become immortal in influence. Because long after you are gone, the structures you built, the moves you made, the reputation you forged, they echo. That is the immortal game. And now, it is your turn. No more playing the victim. No more being moved like a pawn. No more waiting for permission. From today forward, you carry the Machiavellian mindset. You will think 5 moves ahead. You will reveal less than you know. You will balance charm with fear. You will wield both light and shadow. You will no longer be prey. You will no longer be a puppet. You will be the hunter, the architect, the ruler of your own empire. Because the truth is simple. In a world of manipulation, you either dominate or you are dominated. And now, with these rules, the choice is yours.